Hey YouTube, 1986 Foxbody Mustang, upgrading the brake system on my car, upgrading the rear drum brakes that are factory to disc brakes. Car goes well but doesn't stop, so I'm trying to fix that up. So I got the new kit, got the new brakes, rear brakes installed, in the middle of putting all the tubing together now. And I have this, so along with the kit, I got this here. It's a rear center upper rear brake hose. Comes with a flex section as well. Connects the two lines that go to the rear brakes and connects to the front brake system. Problem is, I had nowhere to plug this into. So on the factory vehicle on this, because this used to be a 4-cylinder at one point in time before it got Frankensteined, underneath on the passenger side of the vehicle here is where the brake lines used to come in. And what I'll do is I'll just see if I can't go underneath here and show you where this actually connected. Okay, so we're looking towards the front of the vehicle here now. This is the passenger side. This is a dual exhaust on the car now. Originally used to be single exhaust on it, and when you have the single exhaust and the 4 or 6 cylinder versions on this, the brake lines actually come through in the passenger side. You got a little flange here that goes to a flex probe, and actually this got fastened onto the axle, believe it or not. There was a little attachment, I can show you that later, that actually went on here, and that's where the two cables went out to the back rear brakes. So to plug the hole, I actually put a brass fitting in here, put some Loctite on that, close that up. Didn't go in too far, so I didn't impede with the axle at all. But anyways, just kind of, that's where this came in. So with the new kit I have, the problem I have is, let me hop over here. Okay, so now with the new braking system is going to be connected essentially on the opposite side of the back of the car. Essentially this is going to be connecting over to the driver's side. I had nothing to plug it into, so I got to put new brake lines in here now as well. So what I had to do is I had to go get this is called a rear upper brake hose bracket. Comes complete with a banjo bolt as well. I got this from late model restoration. I think it was $35 or ish, and around that range to get that. And what's going to happen now is this, when this goes onto the axle, this actually is going to plug right into here, and you can see that you got a little feed in through the side. So I got put a couple crush washers in there and put that in here. But the problem now I'm finding as well is, well, where does this go? So let me show you where this goes. All right, so well, there's my new fancy cover I put in for the 8.8 rear end. It looks pretty clean, got the fluid in there, so that's all set to go. So now let me show you, so if you follow in, I'm going to have to turn around a little bit, but essentially we're on the driver's side of the vehicle, looking up and in, and the shadow is covering where we actually need to be. Let me move the light. All right, there we go. So, sorry for being a little bit upside down right now. This is the driver's side. You can see those two holes right there. That is where the bracket is meant to be. The only problem is these holes are 1/4-inch holes, and what I wanted to do is actually rivet that bracket in place. So you have a couple options here. You could actually, the holes line up to the bracket I just showed you. You could put them straight in there with some sheet metal screws, maybe don't go any more than 1/2 inch deep on there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill 2 new holes to the left of it, and then I'm going to rivet that in place. And let me just go back to the bracket now. Okay, so again, here's the bracket I got from late model restoration. Again, those holes will line up to the 2 holes that are on the driver's side and the back of the car underneath. And or if you want to remove the old one, this should line up pretty well as well. So you got the banjo bolt that comes with that as well. You're going to need a couple crush washers to connect this piece here in. And this also comes with this is all threaded already. This is all good to go. So all you need to do is put your 3/8 tube nut in here along with your brake cable. So I'm going to do that. But what I'm going to do is, before I actually put this in place, I'm actually probably going to connect my brake tubing into here and bend it to make it a little easier, because there's not a lot of access room in there after I get that done. So that'll be in place. I bought this new copper nickel, I think it is. Hold on here. It's yeah, copper nickel. So got this new copper nickel brake line tubing, and the stuff bends really nicely. So what I did is, real quick, I got myself some solid wire from a from a friend of mine who's an electrician. So this is solid wire, and what I essentially did is I kind of bent this in place, went in underneath the vehicle, figured out where I need to go with it, and then I brought it out, straightened out. I cut my length on the tubing, so I have the right length on that already. And this tubing for the brakes now is gonna bend really nicely, so I'm just gonna be able to fish that through and bend it as I go along. And what I did as well is on the part, the end I'm gonna be fishing through, I put some tape on here, so when I fish it through, I don't end up getting any dirt inside the brake line. You don't want any dirt in there. You want to keep that clean. So anyways, hopefully that helps you guys a little bit. I was stumped as to where this goes, where to pick it up. You can get one of these from Late Model Restoration, again about $36. I actually ordered a part from a Wreckers in the States, and all they sent me was just this little piece right here that goes in the bracket, and they charged me $45 for that. So for less money through LMR, and that was used. Through LMR, you actually get the whole bracket and the banjo and the connector in there for less money than that, and that looks like that's pretty well built. That's going to last a while. So I'm going to put that brake system together, and we'll see how that goes. So anyways, hopefully this video helps you guys a little bit, and yeah, happy motoring. Yep, sorry guys, I just remembered that I was going to show you the old T-fitting that was bolted to the axle. So this is the old, from the old system. This was actually bolted right to the axle, and there's the bolts on there, and interesting enough, this bolt here is hollow. So that was bolted right through, and that's where I put that brass fitting to kind of plug up that hole with moving the brake system over. So that is what was there. I ended up having to cut this actually off altogether. Where the old connector was, it was totally rusted together and I couldn't get it apart at all. So I cut it, and I'm gonna leave it there a little bit, and I'm gonna tie wrap the new brake line to a couple parts where the old brake line was run, just to keep it in place. All right, so here's the finished product. That is riveted in there now, and got my brake line in there. That is really solid, going to my T-fitting on the top of the axle here, which goes out to each side on the brakes. And just from underneath, just to kind of give you a different perspective here, there we are, riveted in, and we are good. And all right, so our rear brakes are done. Now I got to change the master cylinder and work on changing the front spindles. All right, hope you guys found this video helpful. Happy motoring.